Good evening and welcome to this digitally enabled online meeting of the Council of the Municipality of North Perth, held on Monday, November 16th, 2020. I'm Mayor Todd Kasenberg and I'll call this meeting to order. I ask the Deputy Clerk to note our starting time for the minutes as 7 p.m. Today's meeting is being streamed live on the Municipality of North Perth YouTube channel and will be available there after the meeting as an archived video. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair and/or the testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Okay. Let's just start over. We'll go right back to the beginning here. Good evening and welcome to this digitally enabled online meeting of the Council of the Municipality of North Perth, held on Monday, November 16th, 2020. I'm Mayor Todd Kasenberg and I'll call this meeting to order. I ask the Deputy Clerk to note our starting time for the minutes is 7:04 p.m. This is a shift based on the technical difficulties originating with apparently my computer. Today's meeting is being streamed live on the Municipality of North Perth YouTube channel and will be available there after the meeting as an archived video. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair and/or the clerk have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory, or potentially inappropriate to be published. Thank you. Via the YouTube channels. Welcome to councillors and staff and our guests who are key informants about matters in tonight's meeting to the meeting. At this time, I invite your decorum. I advise that I do have attendance regrets tonight from Councillor Andreessen. Let's move then to item 2.1 of our agenda pertaining to pecuniary interest. For the benefit of those unfamiliar with our council practices, provincial legislation requires councillors with a potential pecuniary or financial interest in any item at the council table to declare this interest and to remove her or himself from discussions and voting on the item. In accordance with recommended protocol, at this time, I invite all councillors with potential pecuniary interest, including those who have already declared in writing, to verbally advise the chair in public session and to submit documentation to this effect in writing to the clerk. Councillors are further reminded that should a potential conflict arise during the meeting, they may so declare and act at any point in the meeting. And first, I'll call on Deputy Mayor Kellum.
Yes, through you, Mayor Kasenberg, I would like to declare pecuniary interest on item 5.2.1, the application for draft plan of vacant land condominium approval by Scott J. Patterson on behalf of Macomb Developments, Inc., as I am an employee of Ideal Supply. So then I will declare pecuniary interest on 13.1, the confirmatory bylaw. Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Kellum. Any other councillors wish to make a declaration at this time before we move forward? Seeing no expression of interest through our chat window, and let me just explain, as usual, our virtual processes. I will be systematically trying to seek consent from various councillors as movers and seconders of the various resolutions and bylaws that we put before us tonight. To some degree, I do this alphabetically. Should a councillor not wish to respond to the request, they may say so, and I will move to the next name on the alphabetical list. Regarding speaking to our business, councillors tonight will identify themselves through our conferencing technologies chat function. The clerk is assisting me tonight in maintaining the speaking order from that source. Councillors are allowed on their turn to deliver a primary question or comment and may make one supplemental without intervention from me. We will follow speaking order carefully, and any councillor wishing to have another turn will have to indicate again and go to the bottom of the speaker's list. This is a normal process consistent with Robert's Rules of Order. Councillors are reminded that if I believe you're not audible, I'll reach out to you and let you know. I'm glad that some of you reached out to me to let me know at the beginning of the meeting that I wasn't audible. That was very helpful and appreciate that. I will be arbitrating that, certainly, and we'll ask all to maintain a mute state in the web conference until I've called upon you for a verbal reaction. Should any of your votes not show up in eScribe, I'll call on you when things seem stalled to register a manual vote. At that time, take yourself off mute, answer yes or no on the motion, and then return to mute. Regarding item 2.2 of our agenda, I have a motion before me for the adoption of the agenda that reads as follows: that the agenda for tonight's meeting be approved. And I start with Councillor Rothwell. Will you serve as our mover for that?
I so move.
Thank you. And Councillor Seiler, will you be our seconder?
I will second that. Thank you.
Thanks. Any discussion or debate on that motion? Seeing none, let's have that vote. And it's not coming up for me. How exciting. Give me a second. I might be able to solve this rapidly. There we go. And with that, that's carried. Thank you. That brings us to item 3 on our agenda, the so-called consent agenda. These items are placed because they are believed to be non-contentious, yet they require council's recognition and action. Grouping them expedites our business. However, any councillor wishing to extract an item from the consent agenda for further discussion, consideration, etc., may do so. There are 7 items on the consent agenda tonight, including the minutes of our last regular council meeting. Councillors, do any of you have a desire to extract any of these items for further discussion or action? Feltz, anything that you're seeing in the chat window? Okay, seeing nothing, then I have a resolution for our consideration that reads as follows: that 6.7 be received for information, and the minutes of the November 9th, 2020 regular council meeting be adopted. Councillor Anstead, can I call on you to be our mover for that one?
Yes, I would move that. Thank you.
Thanks. Yes. Councillor Behrens, will you serve as our
Yes,
seconder?
I will second that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate on that one? Seeing none, let's have that vote. And that is carried. Thank you. Let's move on to item 4. Tonight we have no public meetings or delegations to enjoy, so that moves us along to item number 5 on our agenda: reports from departments and key staff. Tonight, under 5.1, we have no reports from the CAO's department, but I think I'm going to call on Mr. Snell, if I might, to just comment on the change to building availability at the municipal hall. Chris, do you mind commenting on this for council's benefit?
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and good evening. Late Friday afternoon, we made the decision to lock our office doors. We were seeing a very rapid increase in people coming to the municipal office for what we would call non-essential visits. And considering the state that the health unit was moving us into today, and just trying to keep both our staff and the public as safe as possible, because in our office there is a requirement for two-way traffic if there are a number of people in the area. We decided to close the door. We are available by appointment, or if people require our service, to call us, and we will make an appointment to allow people to conduct the necessary municipal business. But we do encourage everyone to not make unnecessary trips and use all other available online or payments at a financial institution to keep their accounts current. As of right now, the OPP office is still available for those requiring police checks and other necessary police business. But at this time, we are also requesting that people try to use the phone and call first before they come to the OPP office. That's an update, and I'll certainly take any questions that council has.
Thanks, Mr. Snell. Councillor Johnston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chris, without stating names, some stores seem to be getting very lax on allowing people in without masks. Anything we as a municipality can do to enforce that, or is it a provincial/OPP thing? Thank you.
CEO Snell.
At present time, our mask requirement comes through the health unit and is direction from the medical officer of health. We can follow up with the public health if we do find there are violations in our municipality. And so we're more than willing to take that information and pass it on to Dr. Clausen and her staff. At this time, that is our only avenue. It could be council's prerogative if they so choose to pass a bylaw, but right now there's no municipality in the here in Perth area that has a bylaw, and we are relying on guidance and education from public health.
Anything further on that one, Councillor Johnston?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Thanks. And I'll add that I asked staff to send out Dr. Clausen's most recent set of instructions. They were amended on, I think, Thursday of last week to the business community so that they would be aware of changes in their obligations and expectations from the public health group in our county. So businesses have been made aware that there are some changes that have been made, particularly with regards to screening on entry into their business spaces. So please take note of that. I think council was sent that correspondence. If not, we can make sure that you have that. Thanks, CEO Snell. Any other questions for Chris on this matter? Okay, next up is item 5.2. For item 5.2.1, council is provided with a report from the county's consulting planner, Louisa Vicondio, which suggests council's recommendation for approval by the County of Perth of an application for a draft plan of condominium. This applies to lands proposed for development on McLaren Avenue North in Listowel, technically in the boundaries of the Wallace Ward. I'll ask Ms. Vicondio to review this proposed matter for us. Welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good evening, members of council. My name is Louisa Vicondio. I'm here to present this staff report. The subject lands, as noted in the staff report, are 19 McLaren Avenue North, contained in the Wallace Ward. So the subject lands, the proposed draft plan of condominium is proposed to apply to these lands, which have a total area of 8,699 square meters, or approximately 2.15 acres. These lands have frontage on McLaren Avenue North and are proposed to be accessed through a private lane to be created as a common element for this development. The proposed draft plan of vacant land condominium will comprise of 15 vacant land condominium units and common elements. These subject lands have received full site plan approval for the development of the common elements and the 15 vacant land units. As previously mentioned, a private condominium road is proposed on these lands and will be developed as part of the common elements to provide that access to McLaren Avenue North. In addition, a stormwater management pond will also form part of these common elements to be maintained by the condominium corporation. So these lands are designated as urban fringe in the County of Perth official plan and are zoned residential 5 in the municipality of North Perth zoning bylaw. So the recommendations for this report are that the municipality of North Perth Council receive this report for information, and that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth recommend to the County of Perth Council that this application for draft plan of vacant land condominium be approved subject to the conditions identified in this report. I would like to note that in addition to the information contained in this report, after this report was finalized, there were some additional matters that were brought up to county staff that I'd like to comment and or provide clarity on. The first being that the applicant has reviewed these draft conditions and provided county staff with some comments. Specifically, these comments were related to condition 13 and condition 1 under the subheading clearances. So county staff have reviewed and discussed these comments with the applicant and are in agreement with the proposed changes, a copy of which of these changes has been circulated to the clerk for the municipality of North Perth. So county staff proposed to make these changes to the condition to be reflected in the staff report that will be presented to the county council. And the second note being that county staff have also received a comment from a local resident who has commented on the proposed draft plan, specifically the portion of the draft plan which shows a portion of the common element that is proposed to be extended to reach the eastern property line, which abuts the adjacent church property, or St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church. The main concern of this resident is that this would provide a road connection or access from this condominium development to the church parking lot, and they have requested that some form of a barrier be implemented to prevent this through access. County staff would note that this common element area is designed as a fire truck turning point with a raised curb at the termination point for this truck turning, and the remainder of that common element area is also planned as landscape to be utilized for snow storage. County staff have followed up with the resident who provided the comment and advised of this intent that the extended area is to be utilized for snow storage and that the approved site plan does not provide for a road on that portion of the common element that would provide that through access to the church parking lot. And furthermore, that there is a curb there to prevent that type of through access. In addition, we note in consultation with the planner for the municipality of North Perth that the North Perth zoning bylaw contains a regulation which would require the provision of a planting strip or fence where this type of development as proposed for this condominium, where these types of developments abut a non-residential use such as the adjacent church, which we understand that the municipality is planning on enforcing. So as such, in summary, county staff is satisfied that this vehicular access between this property and the adjacent church property would not be possible through this portion of the common element. And as such, we believe that there is no need for any additional condition to require the construction or installation of a fence where this common element area abuts the church lands to the east. However, we would like to leave it at this point to the Council of North Perth to decide whether an additional condition of approval to this effect to address this comment should be added. So that summarizes my presentation of this staff report. I am available for any questions should council have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Macondio. Councillors, do you have any questions or first comments about this matter? Clerk, are we seeing anything? So, Councillor Rothwell.
Thank you very much, Mayor Todd. And thanks for your report, Louisa. The question I have is regarding the revised conditions that were sent out today with outlined in red.
Correct.
Could you just go into the reason for the change specifically, and if that in fact goes back to the tribunal's decision regarding the appeal on the official plan amendment and so on some time ago, in terms of the condition number 13, I believe it is, in terms of the easement and the noise barrier. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Through you, Your Worship, to address your question, Councillor Rothwell. Yes, so in discussion with the applicant, they confirmed that the intent is that the noise barrier be maintained by Ideal Supply and not the condominium corporation. So to that note, the reason for the revision to this condition is to provide access to Ideal Supply in favor of Ideal Supply over the condominium corporation lands rather than the other way around, as it is now been made clear that in fact Ideal Supply will be the entity that will be maintaining the noise barrier on that north portion of the site.
Thank you, that clarifies it.
Any other questions? Okay, Council, I'll break from my usual pattern. If you could see this, you probably can't. It's 4 pages of a resolution, as the clerk is showing on the screen. I'm going to read the first enabling part and assume that you have read and understand the conditions that are available as per correspondence today. All right, so I'm just reading the first part of the resolution because I don't want to be here all night if I don't have to. The resolution that we have for consideration reads as follows: that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth receive the report entitled Application for Draft Plan of Vacant Land Condominium Approval by Scott J. on behalf of Maycomb Developments, Inc., NP 2001, affecting property described as part of Lot 19, Registrar's Compiled Plan number 487, Geographic Township of Wallace in the Municipality of North Perth, dated November 16th, 2020, prepared by MHBC Consulting Planners for Perth County. And that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth recommend to County of Perth Council that the application for draft plan condominium, by Scott J. Patterson on behalf of Maycomb Development, NP 20-01, property described as part of Lot 19, Registrar's Plan number 487, Geographic Township of Wallace in the Municipality of North Perth, 19 McLaren Avenue North, Listowel, be approved as circulated by the county on May 22nd, 2020, provided that the following conditions are satisfied, and there are 3.5 pages of them. I call on Councillor Duncan to be our mover for this.
Yes, I'll move that.
Thank you. And Councillor Johnston, will you be our seconder?
Yes, I would second that.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate at this point or further questions? Mayor Feltz, anything? Apparently there's some audio degradation happening. Hopefully that doesn't continue. We'll ask Simon if he's paying attention in the building to have a look in on that again. Okay, so no further questions or comments about this matter. Duly moved and seconded. Let's have that vote.
I'm in favor. My vote, I registered it, but it didn't seem to pop up. So
Okay, thanks, Councillor Anstead. And we're missing Deputy Mayor Callum, who is declared on this one. So that is carried. Thank you very much. And next up then, as item 5.2.2 is a report from County of Perth Planner David Gundrum pertaining to an application requesting the severance of a new lot from an existing lot. This is property located at 172 Main Street in Atwood, formerly site of the Anglican Church. I'll call on Mr. Gundrum to summarize. Welcome, David.
Well, thank you, Mayor Kasenberg. Good evening, Mayor, members of North Perth Council. The following application for consent, application number B44-20, submitted by 245-9825 Ontario Inc., proposes to create identically sized, severed and retained residential lots within the community of Atwood, each having a lot area of approximately 708 square meters or 7,620 square feet. Both lots are proposed to be the site of one unit on a semi-detached dwelling on one lot. The subject property in this case is rectangular in shape, having a depth of approximately 40 meters and a frontage of approximately 35 meters along Main Street, Atwood, also known as Highway 23. The property, as noted by Mayor Kasenberg, was the former site of an institutional use, being a church building which has recently been removed. The subject property is located within the built-up area of Atwood and is bounded to the south, west, and north by existing single detached dwellings, and to the east by Main Street, Atwood, Highway 23. Given its location and proximity to neighboring residential uses, residential development of the subject property would constitute logical and orderly growth by means of infilling and intensification. Future residential development on the subject property can be appropriately and adequately supported by existing and planned municipal services found within the nearby area. Both the proposed severed and retained lots are within the residential zone 4, R4-21 of the Municipality of North Perth zoning bylaw. The R4-21 zone permits a variety of residential uses, including one unit of a semi-detached dwelling on one lot. The resulting severed and retained lots would meet the required provisions of the R4-21 zone with regard to minimum lot area and minimum lot frontage. I would note for council that the -21 provision also allows for permitted uses of triplex and fourplex dwelling units. However, those are not currently being contemplated as part of the proposed development. Full municipal services for sewage and water exist within the general vicinity of the subject property. However, North Perth Public Works has confirmed that the subject property does not currently have direct access to municipal services with regard to water supply. Direct access to municipal sewage services does currently exist at this location that would be supportive of the proposed residential development. The Provincial Policy Statement, or PPS, does allow for partial services within settlement areas for infill development where full municipal services do not yet exist. A new access has been proposed as the existing access found on the subject property is not appropriately situated to accommodate the intended access for the proposed development. The provided severance sketch illustrates that the proposed semi-detached units that would front onto Main Street are anticipated to possess a side-by-side driveway access as illustrated on Schedule B to our report. As per Section 6 of the County of Perth official plan, permits must be obtained from the appropriate approval authority, being the Ministry of Transportation for Ontario, where required. A related condition of consent has been recommended in this regard. With regard to Section 143 of the PPS, the development proposal would result in an efficient use of land and resources that are currently underutilized. Development of the subject property in the manner as proposed by the current owners would constitute a form of orderly and logical growth that would more efficiently leverage both existing and planned municipal infrastructure services. The County of Perth Planning Department has found the application for consent to sever to be consistent with the provincial policy statement and in general conformity to the policies of the County of Perth official plan. We are hereby recommending that Municipality of North Perth Council receive our report for information and that they recommend to the County of Perth Land Division Committee that the application for consent B44-20 be approved subject to the 4 recommended conditions contained in our report. That is a summary of the application and our recommendation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that members of council may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Gundrum. Any questions of council on this matter? Anything, Clerk Perpels? No. Okay. So I have a resolution for our consideration, council, that reads as follows: that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth received the report entitled Application for Consent to Sever number B44-20 by 2459825 Ontario Inc. affecting lands described as Lot 48 and part of Lot 49, Plan 253, Elma Ward, Municipality of North Perth, 172 Main Street, Atwood, dated November 16th, 2024 information. And that council recommends that the County of Perth Land Division Committee or its designate approve the application for consent to sever number B44-20, Lot 48 and part of Lot 49, Plan 253, Elma Ward, Municipality of North Perth, 172 Main Street, Atwood, subject to the following conditions. 1, that confirmation be received from the Municipality of North Perth that all financial requirements have been met, if any. 2, that confirmation be received from the Municipality of North Perth that all taxes have been paid in full. 3, that confirmation be received from the Municipality of North Perth that the apportionment schedule for municipal drains in this area be reviewed and updated if necessary to the satisfaction of the Municipality of North Perth in accordance with Section 65.1 of the Drainage Act RSO to show that the applicant will be responsible for all costs associated with this reapportionment. And 4, that confirmation be received that all required permits necessary to accommodate public road access for the development have been obtained from the Ministry of Transportation for Ontario. Can I call on Deputy Mayor Kellum to be our mover for that?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And Councillor Richardson, will you serve as our seconder?
I will second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate? We're not seeing anything, so let's have that vote. Councillor Johnston, we seem to have lost you in this one. What say you? Is Councillor Johnston with us? Councillor Johnston, can you hear us? Is he showing in the list of people who are available? Councillor Johnston, can you hear us? What say you? Maybe he's had a technology issue. Should we proceed to move this vote to its conclusion, Clerk? Okay, we'll have to count Councillor Johnston. Oh, is he back? Councillor Johnston, what say you? Okay, we'll have to consider him absent for this vote, and with that, we'll call this carried. Thank you. Perhaps we can ask Simon to investigate whether there's technical support needed for Councillor Johnston at this point. Let's move on then. For item 5.2.3, Council is invited toward the tender for software that will support process management for the building permits issued by the municipality. This is an important decision. I'm going to call on Josh White, our finance purchasing assistant, to provide us with an overview of what's happened here in terms of selecting the vendor and product and explaining the process so that we're satisfied. Welcome, Mr. White.
Reducing demand on department resources at the counter and over the phone. As it was something that our regular contractors were asking for time. Receiving 7 submissions. Proposals.
Josh, we're having a great deal of audio trouble here with your feed.
Yep.
I'm not sure whether you're in a sort of reliable zone for your audio, but we're struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Just let me know if you can't.
You might have to try again.
Try
again from the top.
Sure. So the building department issued an RFP for permit software for the purposes of reporting efficiencies, reducing demand on department resources, both at the counter and over at the phone, as well as it was something that our regular contractors have been asking for some time. Proposals were received by September 25th, with the municipality receiving 7 submissions. Proposals were evaluated proposal evaluations were conducted by municipal staff in the building, finance, and IT departments, who identified 2 clear front-runner proposals to proceed with a second stage, which involved a solution demonstration, after which it was determined that Evolta software was the top proponent for your consideration. The initial term of the contract after implementation is 3 years, with 2 2-year options for a total of $170,400 plus HST.
Thanks, Mr. White. I'm glad we got that audio sorted out. Council, do you have any questions or first comments on this matter? Councilor.
Thank you, Mayor Kasenberg. Through you, Josh. Thanks for the report. Just a quick question. I noticed in your comments it said that they were not going to charge for the implementation. Did they give you any indication on what that cost would be? Thank you.
Yes, initially with their proposal submission, they identified implementation to be $15,000. After going through the demonstration with them, it was determined that a large portion of, well, all portion of that cost was to implement or transfer historical permit files into the system for us. Talking with Ed Podnowitz, the chief building official, he feels that once he has staff in place in the early new year, that's something that the municipality could work at over time ourselves and save ourselves the $15,000 for implementation.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions for Mr. White or for CBO Podnowitz? Okay. Seeing none, I have a resolution for our consideration. It reads as follows: that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth award the building permit software request for proposal number NP-008-20P to the Evolta Software Inc. Cloud Permit for a total cost up to $170,400, excluding HST, for the 7-year period. Can I call on Councillor Rothwell to be our mover for that?
I so move, yes.
Thank you. Councillor Seiler, will you be our seconder for that one?
Yes, I'll second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate by council on this matter? Are we seeing anything? No. Okay. So we're not seeing anything. So let's have that vote. Okay, Councillor Johnston, we don't have with us, we believe, but let me just check that. Councillor Johnston, are you with us? Okay, hearing no response to that, then we're going to call that carried. And thank you and appreciation, Mr. White, to you and the team that evaluated this for the good work that you've done. Thanks for joining us tonight too for our session. For item 5.2.4, Council was given an update on matters pertaining to a report that was presented in part last meeting and requests made by this Council for additional information and time. For response to OPA 189, I'll ask North Perth Planner Sean Yilmaz to just give us an overview of what's happened in the last week on that file so that we understand where things are sitting. Welcome, Sean.
Hi, yes, good evening, and thank you, Mayor Kasenberg. So just a little update. Staff has submitted a formal letter to the county requesting the deferral of any decision regarding the official plan amendment as per council's request from last week. The planning manager has also confirmed that there is no intent to bring any recommendation forward without further consultation. And the planning manager is aware of the reports requested and is working on getting that back to council as soon as possible, and has assured myself that nothing will be brought forward until these requested reports are provided, and has given council enough time to review and respond. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Yilmaz. Council, any questions or comments for Sean in this report? Are we seeing anything there? Nothing yet. Okay, so Council, I have a resolution for our consideration that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth receive the staff report entitled OPA 189, comments to County Council, update, and dated November 16th, 2020 for information. Can I call on Councillor Anstedt to be our mover for that one?
Yes, I would move that motion. Thank you.
Thanks. And Councillor Behrens, will you be our seconder?
Yes, I will second that motion. Thank you.
Thanks. Any discussion or debate on this matter at this point? Anything that? Okay. Well, not seeing any indication of that. Let's have that vote. Okay, so we're going to call that carried as well. Councillor Johnston still appears to be having technical problems. And Simon is supporting him at this point so that he can be restored to the meeting. Thank you, Council. That's carried. We have no indication of reports for Council from our rec department tonight as item 5.3. We're going to turn then to item 5.4 on our agenda, reports from the Treasury and Finance Department. As item 5.4.1, Council is presented with a request to authorize the reassignment of a development charges deferral agreement pertaining to portions of the so-called nickel properties. I'll invite Ms. Belfour, I believe, is speaking to this one, or is it Ms. Hale? I'm not sure which. Oh, it's Ms. Hale. Okay. Ms. Hale, our Director of Finance Treasurer, to address this item. Ms. Hale, sorry, I got that confused. Welcome.
No problem. Thank you, Mayor Kasenberg, members of council. This evening, we are asking council to consider an assignment agreement between, among, I guess I should say, Nickel Properties and Skyline and the municipality of North Perth. Nickel Properties entered into a deferral agreement in October, and we're asking council to assign this to the new owner, which would be Skyline at this point in time. There'll be no difference for the municipality in terms of financial impact, as we weren't anticipating this funding to be coming forward for the 6 months. And so tonight there is a motion for your consideration to authorize Ed, the CBO, and myself to sign this agreement on behalf of the municipality.
Great, thanks, Ms. Hale. Councillors, any questions or comments on this matter? See anything? Okay, so seeing none, I have a resolution for our consideration that reads as follows: that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth authorize the Chief Building Official and the Director of Finance Treasurer to sign an agreement with Nickel Properties, Inc. and Skyline Real Estate Holdings, Inc. for the assignment of the Development Charges Deferral Agreement dated October 13th, 2020. Can I call on Councillor Duncan to be our mover for that?
Yes, I'll move that.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Callum, will you serve as a seconder?
Yes, I will second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, let's have that vote. And that's carried, and it appears that Councillor Johnston is back. Welcome back. All right, thank you. And let's move then to item 5.4.2, and I think this is where Ms. Belfour turns up. The council is asked to award the tender for new budgeting software to Questica. And so I'll invite Ms. Belfour, our Deputy Treasurer, to address this item. Ms. Belfour, tell us a little bit about what we're going to achieve with this software too, while we're at it, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mayor Kasenberg and Council. I'm very pleased tonight to bring you this report for our budget software solution. As you know, it was part of the 2020 budget projects, and we really hope to achieve, or we know we will achieve, improved quality and operational efficiencies for both finance and department heads with this new software. Last time will be spent creating and amending and tracking reporting on budget compared to the existing model within Keystone. It's going to cover our legislative requirements with the multi-year budgeting, capital project tracking, which I think all of you will be very pleased with. There's going to be cost center capabilities, just to name a few. There's also some dashboards within this software for display for the public, for department heads, capital projects, which is an exciting one to see come on board, and the performance dashboard for council. This will integrate well with our existing software solutions, Serenic, Payroll, Info HR, Keystone as well, and it'll be great for our auditing purposes. So there were 6 vendors that had submitted for this RFP, which closed September the 25th. Evaluations were conducted by municipal finance staff, IT department, and a third-party evaluator. Each one of the vendors were reviewed, and we came up with 2 proponents to move on to stage 2. And from stage 2, they both submitted their proposals, and we reviewed them with them. And Questica was identified as the top proponent. The financial implications for this would be initial term of the agreement for 3 years with 2 additional 2-year options after. There is an implementation cost of $15,100, annual cost of $19,500 for the initial 3-year term, with a 3% increase annually remaining for the 4 years. Total up to $157,628.15, excluding HST.
Thanks, Ms. Belfour. As you've probably heard, I'm all about dashboards, so that certainly is an exciting development. Okay, questions or comments from council? Anything, Clerk Berfels? Okay, so I have a resolution for consideration that reads as follows: that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth award the municipal budget software request for proposal number NP 009-20P to Questica Inc. for a total cost up to $157,500 $1,628.15, excluding HST, for the potential 7-year period. Can I call on Councillor Johnston to be our mover? Are you with us, Dave?
Yes, I think I'm back, and I would definitely move that, and I'm very excited for this software. I think council will be crazily impressed with what it can do and what our staff can do with this.
Exciting, isn't it? And Councillor Richardson, will you serve as our seconder?
Unmute. I would be happy to second that.
Great. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, let's have that vote. And that is carried. Thank you. We have no reports from our manager of environmental services from his department for this meeting. If he were on the line, though, I'd ask him to sing us a song, but I don't think he's with us at this point. So I can assure that they're doing their usual diligent work on behalf of the community on managing key services for us. That brings us to item 5.6, reports from the operations department. As item 5.6.1, council is invited to adjust the speed limit on line 84 from the current 80 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers per hour. This revision does require a bylaw amendment. Further, it pertains to a length of road from Highway 23 heading east to Tremaine Avenue South. This is a road that we've had in progress this year. I'll ask Manager of Operations Lyndon Couch to explain. Welcome, Mr. Couch.
Thank you, Mayor Kasenberg, members of council. The changes relate to an increase in heavy truck traffic, as well as general traffic that we've seen on the roadway. Although we're widening the platform and the road will have better visibility, in correspondence with the traffic engineer and the municipal engineer as well, a speed limit of 60 kilometers an hour is proposed. We've finished the base course of asphalt and put paint down on half of the road. The remainder will be done next year, but we can make this amendment now. If we need to lower for construction periods next summer, we'll lower again with an amendment, but this would be the new permanent speed, a reduced speed, a safe speed for the design. And it's recommended that the bylaw be changed parallel to the recommendation.
Thanks, Mr. Couch. Any questions or comments from council? Councillor Rothwell?
Thank you, Mayor Todd. Thanks for the report, Lyndon. And through you, I believe that we've already got a 60-kilometer sign posted there. Was that in anticipation of this, or was it simply a temporary sign that was placed up there on the north side of Lane 84 east of Highway 23, Mitchell Road South?
We had put up 50-kilometer-an-hour signage for the construction period. If there's a 60 up, it's up and should be bagged in preparation for a change or an amendment. If it isn't, then I'll make sure that happens depending on the resolution to this tonight.
Thank you.
I suspect the wind took the bag. That's my guess. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. I have a resolution for our consideration that will amend the bylaw for the purposes of resetting the speed here on that stretch of road, that the Council of the Municipality of North Perth amend traffic bylaw number 47-PW-2000 to state the speed on line 84 from Tremaine Avenue South to Highway 23 be lowered to 60 kilometers per hour. I'll find my words. Councillor Rothwell, would you like to be mover of that one?
I so move.
Thank you. Councillor Seiler is our seconder.
I will second.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate? Let's have that vote. And that is carried. Thank you, Council. That sure is a nice stretch of road. I'm enjoying driving that stretch of road and look forward to the rest of it being done in the next year. We have received no matters from the fire chief for our consideration this evening, which brings us to agenda item number 6. For item 6.1, councillors, are there any reports you would like to ask of staff or our committees? To request the opportunity to speak, please so indicate in the chat function in our web conferencing tool. Anyone? Okay, so we're not seeing anything there. We have received no additional items of correspondence beyond that shared in the consent agenda for council's specific disposition, which moves us past item 7 to item 8 on our agenda. This item allows us to consider bylaws and to enact potential bylaws. So we have one such matter tonight for item 8.1. We have a bylaw to provide for the shade near municipal drain. And the resolution that I have here for our consideration is related to a third reading because we've gone through this before for a first and second reading. So the resolution is as follows. It's bylaw number 141-2020, being a bylaw to provide for drainage works, the shade near municipal drain, be introduced, read, and considered read a third time. And be finally passed, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Can I call on Councillor Anstead to be our mover for this one?
Yes, I would move that. Thank you.
Thanks. And Councillor Behrens, will you be our seconder?
Yes, I will second that.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate on that bylaw? Seeing none, let's have that vote. And that is carried. Thank you. That brings us to agenda item number 9. Are there any notices of motion from councillors attending this evening? Seeing nothing, we're going to move on to agenda item number 10. For item 10.1, are there any announcements that would be of benefit to our community or that reflect well on North Perth at this time? If you'd like to speak, please so indicate in the web chat window. And perhaps the best golfer on the team can comment on Mr. Connor's performance at the Masters. I'm suspecting that might be Deputy Mayor Callum, but I could be wrong. Doug, you want to jump in on this and say something about Corey's performance at the Masters?
There we go.
He's muted. If he's trying.
There we go. Now we're good.
There
now
we
we're
are.
good. No, it was an incredible performance for sure. Right from the first round, we started off a little slow, but to the second round, I tell you, it was something to now be the first Canadian to be that lowest score, you know. And then on to the third round, he came a little better than coming into on Sunday. He was a little nervous, but he picked her up in the back 9, and you know, that top 9 finish gives him a clear ticket to the next Masters next year. And I was talking to a friend of his, and he was pretty nervous into the fourth round yesterday and was really drained the last 3 holes. But everyone from here is proud of him, and he's doing well. And we wish him all the best in the future.
Thanks, Doug. I can assure you that I'm very proud too and excited for Mr. Connor's performance, but I could not have explained all that, so thank you. Anyone else have announcements or things worthy of community hearing at this point? Okay, let's move to agenda item number 11 then. We have one matter, I believe, one matter? It's one matter, right? Before us to be considered in a closed session of council. I'm going to read the resolution that enables that. So let's have it at it here. That this committee proceed in camera at 8 o'clock, exactly 8 o'clock p.m. to address a matter pertaining to security of the property of the municipality or local board regarding farmland lease agreements. Councillor Duncan, can I call on you to serve as our mover for that?
I'll move that.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Callum will be our seconder for that one.
Yes, I will second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion or debate about this move to be in camera? Okay, let's have that vote then. Okay, so we're missing Councillor Johnston. We don't have your vote recording. What say you? Oh, we have him. Okay, who are we missing now? Councillor Rothwell. What say you?
I'm in favor. The vote didn't pop up on mine. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So that is carried. That means the council is temporarily adjourned until we resume after a closed session meeting of council. At this time, I'm going to ask any staff or visitors who are in the call who've not been invited to participate in the in-camera session to exit the web conference room, and ask councilors to be patient for a few moments while we reset the audiovisual so that we can have our in-camera discussion. So just hold on. Route PC. Where? Hold on, council. We'll figure it out. Okay. I believe we're back in session. We should have someone check on YouTube to see that YouTube is transmitting properly. Usually we seem to delegate that responsibility to Councillor Richardson. So can you check YouTube for us? Oh, YouTube is good. Okay, so we got confirmation from our wizard of all things IT here, which is great. We are back on. So with regards to item 12 on our agenda, then there's nothing to report this evening from our brief in-camera session. Council, as a mandated good practice, acts near the end of its meeting agenda to confirm all of its actions and business of its meeting through what is called the confirmatory bylaw. I have a draft of that for consideration. That bylaw number 160-2020, being a bylaw to confirm generally previous actions of the Council of the Municipality of North Perth, be introduced, read, and considered read a first, second, and third time and be finally passed. And this said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Can I call on Councillor Anstett to be our mover for that one?
Yes, I would move that. Thank you.
Thanks. And Councillor Behrens, will you be our seconder for that one?
Yes, I will second that motion. Thank you.
Thanks. Any discussion or debate on that one? Seeing none, let's have that vote. No e-scribe. Oh, there's no e-scribe. We don't have e-scribe up. Okay, so council, are there any opposed to that motion? Please indicate through the chat function. Seeing none, that's carried. And we've come to that magic hour where I put out the call to any on council. We have completed everything that was put before us on our agenda tonight. Is there any further business that needs to be considered before I read a motion for adjournment? We're not seeing or hearing anything. That's good news. Okay, so I have the resolution for us. The council meeting adjourns at 8:15 p.m. to meet again for general council business on Monday, November 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. Can I call on Councillor Duncan to be our mover for that one?
So moved.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Callum, will you be our seconder for that?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Are there any opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. That means we are adjourned. This council will meet again in an added regular council meeting using digital enabling technologies next Monday, November 23rd, 2020. And this meeting is adjourned.